And we are back. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Watch on my reviews. This is your boy James. I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. We'll see. Joining me as always is my girl Mrs. Beth. Y'all say what's up to her.
Hello, world. Happiest of Sundays.
Yes, and if you're here on this Sunday, read the caption. This is for Love and Marriage Huntsville season 3 or season 5, episode 3. Y'all owned us weird stuff because I was watching other recappers and they have it like season 6, season 7, and I'm like, I don't know why they do this. I mean, I have an idea of why, but I don't want to really put that out there yet. So, in terms, we have season 3. It actually opens up with Miss Nail and Melody. They over there playing pickleball, which was the funniest thing I have ever seen in my life. And I tell y'all, I am Nail and Nail is me.
I told you was gonna laugh.
I look exactly like that when I play pickleball. I've never played it, but I imagine when I do play, that's exactly what I'm gonna look like. I was hollering, like, cause she's so short. I said she looked like the Black Snooki. She really does. So it was just funny watching her just go up and down there, and everything was just bouncing. I'm just like, oh Lord, this does not look good. But it was a fun scene. So Mel pulls her to the side, and Miss Nail. Their names are so similar. I have to like make sure I'm announcing this correctly. So Miss Nail's gonna be Miss Nail, and Melody's gonna be Melody for whenever they're in the scene together. Okay, we got that. Okay, good. So they began talking, and Miss Nell said that she didn't agree with sending Martell to jail. And she wanted to know what was the cause of that. Like, why did she go that far? And Melody says, at first she was going to let this go. Little threatening text messages, a little snapshot of the video that was going to be released. She just let it go. But then when the baby mama came out and said that she let her sister watch the video and they were going to release it, she had to get ahead of it. So she took it up with the courts and everything. And from that point, what ended up happening was she waited on God's timing. They came and got him so many months later. And I told y'all, if you guys watch my real episode 1 review, that does happen. Like, oftentimes you never know if you have a warrant or not for your arrest, or if someone presses charges when the DA office is going to send an officer on your behalf. Sometimes they come to the house, sometimes they don't. This is why there are bounty hunters. This is why that profession exists, because the bounty hunters go ahead and go get you and go get that reward money for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's becoming less and less a profession nowadays. They don't do it as much anymore. They're still out there, but it's becoming less and less because the states are not paying as much anymore for them. But in terms, yeah, this does happen. So when Miss Nell understood where Mel was coming from, she goes, "Okay, I understand now. Understanding that situation a little bit more. I didn't understand and have the clear context, but so I understand why you did what you did." And so Mel took it upon herself, what she's going to do the entire episode that she's on this episode. Why didn't you come to the podcast? And Miss Nell said, "Oh, I didn't know where to buy a ticket. And when I heard about it, I was in Georgia visiting friends. And by the time I was going to buy tickets, it was too late." And Mel was like giving her the, you could have called me and got some tickets and we could have squashed this whole thing. Cause I thought y'all had already got them and y'all were going to be out there. Cause normally when I have an event, you and Fletcher always show up. And Nell was like, "Yeah, and I'm sorry I dropped the ball." And she goes, "Even Destiny bought her tickets in December. She had bought 4 of them." And Miss Nell kind of, because remember, y'all, Destiny came up to Nell's school and told her she had bought tickets already. So, but not Destiny, Stormy. Why I say Destiny? Stormy had bought tickets. And so when Stormy came up to Nell and told her she had tickets, and Nell knew that, but she says, "Oh, I didn't know." And I said, "Okay, okay, Nell. Okay, we'll let you have this one because you cleared it up by the end of it." And she took full accountability. She said, "That was wrong of me not to show up, and I'll make sure that I'm there going forward." And and then she mentions the stepdaughter, who is, I believe, her name is Lexi. Lexi had did an interview with a vlogger, and I feel like I know who the vlogger is, and I think I remember seeing the interview, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to put it on somebody specific because I think I may have gotten it wrong. I might have to look through their catalog to see if I know who the vlogger is. But the stepdaughter, who's Chris Fletcher's daughter, said that Nell was a side chick when Chris Fletcher and her mother were together. And Nell said she was hurt by that and she was angry because that was not the story. She was never a side chick. She knew that he was married but going through a divorce. And I know a lot of us are in context with that. We don't know exactly when someone is completely free. If you're going by my standards, I always say when the ink is dry on the divorce papers from the judge and it's filed at the city clerk's office. That is when someone is single to me. Not going through the divorce, not going through the settlement process, not going through any of that. That's not single to me. So, Mrs. Best, I want to hear your opinion on this now. Is she Mrs. Best?
Sorry,
Oh.
y'all. My husband's scared in the background, so apologies in advance. My opinions on Miss Nell and Melody's little meeting. I
No, yeah, well, I'm not gonna say the opinion. You can give an opinion on that if you would like, but to touch base on the stepdaughter putting it out there that Nell was a side chick.
It's so long ago. That's how I felt with that. It was so long ago. If this was something more recent, I think people would care. But these people have been together now for a very long time.
Hmm.
So I'm not saying it's not relevant. I think this is just like what you said. I'm the same way. I think this is the example of when dating somebody who has been married, even if they tell you they split up, separated, or whatever, it's just best to wait until the ink is dry on the divorce paper. Because I always say if someone can afford to date, they can afford to get a divorce. That's how I feel. But a lot of people don't do that. Even so, it was so long ago. It sounds like some like petty family drama that's messy, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that because to me, I just felt like, why bring this up now? And then why try to make it where you just mad because of how this episode made you, how the episode made you look? It was just weird. So hopefully they dive more into that as the season progresses to see maybe later on we get more clarification of what happened. Hopefully Lexi comes on the show and clears up why she went to speak with the blogger, who I think I know who it was, but I'm going to reserve my opinion later. So next, y'all, we get episode. The next scene was with Stormy. Stormy goes out to meet the new cast member of the show. Her name is Latricia. We're gonna call her Trish because there's too many Lit somethings on this show. So, um, yes, we'll call her Trish. So Trish meets her, and first thing they do is admire each other's bodies. What we learned about Trish, even in her next scene with her man, is that she is a gym nut. She, found her way through the gym. She used to go back when Stormy used to do her hair. She used to go 3 days a week, and then 3 days a week turned into, before work, at lunchtime, and after work as well. And I'm gonna make a point later on because of something that her boyfriend said on the show. I'm gonna make another point later on, but we're gonna keep it here for now. Um, Stormy pretty much catches her up with everything and saying that her and Courtney are looking into expanding the family and everything, and they are going the surrogate route. Which at first Courtney wasn't on board with that, but it seems like they've now met in the middle somewhere. And she then says, "What's new with you?" Ken is great. That's her boyfriend's name, Trisha's boyfriend's name, which we'll introduce him in a minute. And she says that, we are at the gym, powerhouse and everything. And she actually ran into Tisha at the gym. She was working out with Destiny, and Tisha wanted, to inquire her services. Now, she hasn't responded back to Tisha because she said that there was something between her and Stormy and her allegiances with Stormy. And immediately I said, see, here's the mess. And I told y'all when we were going through who's on the show and we pinned them out, I said they look messy. And here's one part of it. This is messy because regardless if you working out with Tisha, this is business. This ain't got nothing to do with personal. And I'm glad Stormy approached it the way she approached it. She said, look, regardless of what, you should still book that deal because I could see how she would feel a way about me because I called her husband a bitch. And if that means that she don't want no affiliation with me, that's completely fine because I understand it. Now, as soon as Stormy said that, I was like, see, this is Stormy being the bigger person. And this is why she's my favorite on the show so far this season. Now, she could do something that pisses me off later. I don't know. But so far, I am Stormy's on my side with this one because I remember I told y'all I don't like any of them. But right now I'm liking Stormy. I like her approach to the maturity that she's in. And then we get to a little bit of Trisha's background. Trish used to be married for a very long time. And, Stormy said that she knew the husband and she refers to him as Mr. because in terms he would act like Mr. from The Color Purple, where he would dismiss Celie's feelings and he would, make her feel like she didn't matter. And I said, Mr. did a whole lot more than just dismiss Celie's feelings. Mr. neglected her, he abused her, he alienated her from the only blood that she had left, and also her children. He did a lot. He did a lot more. So I don't know if we're going to get into bigger context, but judging by Trish, you can definitely see some of whatever happened in that marriage still lives through her today based on her demeanor, her poise, the fact that she can't even speak through it. And she did mention in this conversation that there are times with Ken where she just wants to go off, and because he's so cool, calm, and collective, and he brings her back down to zero, she can't do that. So she has to find other ways to cope, and that's where the working out comes from. And Stormy's like, I can relate. When she said she first met Courtney, she used to make him, and he used to make her mad, or she used to get mad about something. She would go out in the yard and go start stabbing the grass. And I said, oh well, damn. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hmm. Very interesting. So that was our introduction to Trish. We'll expand more when we meet Ken. But for now, Mrs. Best, what was your first impression of Trish?
I guess I'm a little bit opposite. I respect her and what she did. If I'm coming into a group of friends because of someone I'm really friends with in real life, and it's somebody I know has a problem with my original friend, fuck a show, forget all of it. I'm gonna be loyal to my friend. I'm not gonna just be taking on clients that are supposed enemies of my friend if I have other business that I can take. So I do think that's good. She didn't get involved. She just stayed away. And when it comes to Tisha, y'all know I don't like that heifer, so I don't blame her. I do not blame her. I don't think you could be careful enough. And I don't even think Tisha's the real problem. I really do think, like what Stormy said, Marsal he's the problem. He's one of those boys that's like involved. Like involved. I've been with the same person, y'all, 15 plus years. And he's not been involved with my friends and vice versa. Like he knows them, they know of each other, but like the way Marsal gets involved, like if I were to have a beef with James right now, my husband would not get involved. Like, so I get what she's saying with that. Thus far, I don't mind her. I didn't get enough. On the other end, like in terms of off the show, the loyalty she demonstrated, I mess with, but you're on a reality show. So it's like you kind of have to give people the benefit of the doubt and be willing to interact with them regardless of their interactions with Stormy because you're on a show and it's your job. So I guess I'm torn with that, but I don't really feel no ways about her. She kind of bores me a little bit.
I have a question for you because I read this in a comment on the own when I was watching how people were trying to, retract to her. Do you think she looks like Shoguchi?
Yes. 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 I was getting
I
I was like, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna try it. I was trying to act right on Watch Your Mouth reviews. I was actually trying to watch my mouth, y'all. But in my head, when I first saw her, especially the confessional look with that short wig,
yes, because so Gucci wore something similar to that. Yes.
He does
Mhm.
favor So Gucci a lot, except actually they do kind of look just the same, even body wise. Because So Gucci
Body
like to
wise
work
too.
out
Yeah,
too.
I
Yeah,
saw that as well.
they
And
do
I
look.
didn't put the two together initially until
I
I
think
watched it the second time. And I said,
I
oh,
think
she
what it is
does.
though, so Gucci got them dentures in her mouth. So it makes her look old. It does. No matter what she does, how beat her face be, she look old. Because you could just see them, they don't fit her mouth. So you just see them sitting there. Trisha, she don't got the dentures yet. She's still on her veneers. So, it gives a little bit more of a natural look and it helps. It's just proof that So Gucci needs smaller teeth.
All right, all right.
Jay said,
So
"All right."
yeah, no, I'm with it. Like, cause I'm still on the fence with her as well. I don't know what to make of her.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and move on from this scene, and we're gonna go ahead and move it on to Stormy and Courtney. They go car shopping, which I cannot wait to be this rich. Because if y'all don't know anything else about me, I am a lover of classic cars.
You love a classic car, don't
I love a classic. If you have not read my book, Blue Ridge, Blue Ridge, a New Home, y'all. There is nothing but American classic cars in that book because I have such a love for them.
we should go to a show together.
I go to them in Phoenix all the time. I'm there
Have them
all the
out
time.
here. They're usually like up by Monterey, but we should go.
We should, because I love. I mean, I tell y'all, this was definitely me and my future. Mr. Jordan, come on now, stop playing with me. This could be us. But and moving on with the scene, we see Stormy and Courtney. They go car shopping, and they're looking at cutlasses. They're looking at Monte Carlos, Chevelles. I was like, oh my god, I am in heaven. And Stormy picks out this Lincoln Continental, y'all. I love me a Lincoln Continental. My next Blue Ridge book, the second Blue Ridge book, will have that car featured in there, belonging to one of the new characters. I cannot wait to bring that book out because that is one of my favorite cars. I love that car. And Stormy was feeling it. It was on. Dude says it's a suicide door because the door is open. And, if you're on the freeway, the doors open which they do. If you've ever been in Lincoln Continental, those doors open way too easily. And you can fall out and kill yourself. That's why they call it suicide. I don't think that's why they call it suicide doors, but I did love that car. So in the conversation, they, bring up the surrogacy thing, and Courtney's still a bit hesitant. He's still kind of not really putting his best foot forward with this because he's still reserved. He wants Stormy to kind of make all of the plans and the decisions and everything, and then he kind of just follows suit whatever she decides, which I can respect to some degree because that's letting her, go forward, but letting her take the moves. But then to me, honestly, the only drawback that I would have with this is that if it doesn't go according to plan, will you then blame her for not doing all the steps? I don't think he would. I don't think he's that kind of guy, but I do know men like that. Men that allow women to take all the steps, and when it doesn't work out, then they place all the blame on them. I don't think Courtney's going to do this, but I know men like this. So I'm praying that's not what happens. I'm praying that they have a successful journey in the surrogacy process. They talk about having one embryo for a girl, and I guess they have all boys embryos and everything. I guess that's all figured out, and they have a lot more boys than they do the one girl. um I don't know. I don't know how that process works. I know I have to eventually at some point look into it, but we have time for that. But I just hope that it works out for them in the surrogacy process and everything. How did you feel looking at just only the surrogacy part of this? I'm going to get to the next part in just a moment. How did you feel watching that scene, Mrs. Best?
I love them as a couple. I feel like I don't know. I feel like they actually like each other, like off camera, and still have that like bond. I also feel like Stormy and Courtney are down to earth for the most part, which I appreciate. As for the surrogacy thing, um, I don't know. I get he's that type of dude, but I also feel like, when it comes to bringing people into the world, I would need him to like have a little bit more initiative, take some more initiative, have a little bit more excitement, things like that. But at the same time, I don't know. Courtney low key reminds me of my husband. He's kind of like that. Like some people just love their wife so much that they like whatever make her happy. Do what you gotta do, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna be on board. I'm gonna be there. So
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know. We'll see
Absolutely.
what happens with them, but I wish them the best in it.
We all wish them the best on this, especially because it's bringing new life, and they have the resources and the funds and the wherewithal to do it. So I think that they should. Now, moving on, they do talk about Trish and Ken, and how she met up with Trish, and she says that she looks good, she looks happy, she's in this new relationship with Ken, and that they should double date. And Stormy had mentioned like we should probably beat them at the gym, and Courtney was like, "Oh no, we're not gonna do that. They're not gonna kill me." And I was laughing because we have yet to meet Ken at this point. We don't know what Ken looks like, but judging by what Courtney is saying, Ken is like an overachiever. He's going to want to do the work. And Stormy's like, "Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe we should, just challenge them to a game of spades." She goes, "I love spades. Anybody know black people? Y'all know we love us some spades. That is, kind of the it's almost the equivalent of playing Uno, how serious we take it. We can get mad over some books being missed and everything. So I feel that, and I think I would love to join like a spades tournament, like a couple spades tournament. I wonder if they have that in the world. But I would love to join one of those, like in my later years. But we then move from that scene. We then pick up to meeting Trish and Ken. Now, when Trish was making up the bed and Kim walked out that bathroom, walked out only in some shorts and shirt, and she just is smitten. So you could definitely tell there's a lot of physical attraction on her side. I couldn't quite tell on his side yet, and he might just be just as equally physically attracted to her. She's a beautiful woman, so we can probably say that. So they introduced themselves and they said that they're complete gym rats. They stay into the gym. They said that the more you stay into the gym, it prevents you from seeking actual real therapy. And I say red flag number one. Red flag number one. Y'all, I understand, and even therapy, I've actually had a therapist tell me I need to go to the gym more. But my therapist never told me to subsequent or equivalent the gym to seek an actual therapy. So that bothers me when someone says that, because that should not be the immediate thought surrounding gyms. So, Mrs. Best, I'm going to turn the tables to you now because I wanted to know your opinion because I immediately thought of you when that man said that. How did you feel hearing that man say that?
I'm literally training and doing my hours to become a therapist right now, y'all. No, we would not tell any of our patients to do something in place of coming to see us for two reasons. One, it goes against the 6 ethics and standards of psychology to lose our licenses. And two, it take away from our bottom dollar. You come seeing us, we ain't gonna make no money. What you
Well,
mean? So I just felt like that was, I don't know. They obviously go to the gym like a little bit too much. I'm not even going front. There can be also people who work out too much and it can be a mental health thing. It can be a
yes.
disorder. So that's also something a lot of people don't understand. Yes, you can be too lean, too fit, and no, you don't have to have an eating disorder to do that. So I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. I kept looking at his arms. Um, Obviously, she's attracted to him. He seems to care about her deeply. Like the love for him shines more than just the physical attraction. But she seems like slightly like apprehensive. And then I have like slight questions about like his kid that ain't really his kid that he raised and that ex. And so sorry, y'all, my husband sleep. And all of these things. So I don't know. I have a lot of questions more so with him. If that makes sense.
No, it makes sense because I wanted him to expand on that as well. Because when he said that, it brought me back. When I watched it the second time, it brought me back to when she had the conversation with Stormy and the part where she said, there's parts where I want to lash out and things like that. And because he's so cool, calm, and collective, it makes me wonder now when you said that, is the attention to your detail of why you're angry really getting addressed? Or is he saying, come on, grab your stuff, we're going to the gym to go work this out? Like, is that how this is transitioning? Because one thing about me being in therapy, if I don't deal with something, it's going to tend to show up. So I'm on the fence with him saying that, but also it's making me wonder when it comes to her, if her if he's hearing her and hearing the emotion, because she's coming with a lot of baggage. I don't know what happened in that marriage. Nobody knows. She has not exposed anything. She has not said anything of any detail, but it seems like there was a lot of trauma there. And I'm wondering if the trauma is being addressed in this relationship and also with her individually. I wonder if she's addressing that, because if she's just going to the gym and just letting out frustration, that only works for that day. That does not work into the entire lifetime.
Let them know,
So
Dr. James, clinical
yeah.
specialist, because everything you're saying is it's factual. It does seem, and I think that's what it is with her that's off. It does seem like she's using exercise and things to mask a lot of anger. That was something that did stand out to me. Why are you so angry? Why does your friend describe your ex as one of the worst characters in The Color Purple? Why? Like, I just feel like there's a lot more to it, but I don't think Stormy would out her like that. But she definitely has something that she's dealing with. And then she didn't really move on to someone new. Again, they knew each other in high school.
Hmm.
So she went right back to something that's familiar, which worries me a little bit.
Yes.
But I don't feel like she'll be the cast member that's gonna be on here like beefing and doing hella stuff with the other girls. She may prove me wrong though. I feel like more so she's the one who's gonna be having a lot going on the home front in her storyline. Uh, she's just I don't know how to feel about her, but I don't see her like beefing with these women. But again, you never know. Reality TV can change people and quickly.
Yeah, it can. It absolutely can. And that's my fear for her. I feel, and this is, and y'all, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I want everyone to get their coins. I want everybody to get the exposure, and I want everybody to do what needs to be done when they get on reality TV. But on the same token, I want you to come to reality TV whole. It is clear to me that this young lady is not whole coming on this TV show. There is a lot to unpack here. There is a lot to be said here. And I'm feeling like, to me, I don't want reality TV to expose this in the wrong way, because reality TV can do that. Reality TV can expose this being something way worse than what it actually is.
And Carlos
So,
King is attached to it. If you look at
yes.
RHOA during the eras that he was a producer on that show, some of the biggest controversies and dramas and all sorts of stuff. So I just, I'm not getting at him for that. I understand to some extent it's his job, but I did get more of a sense when she said she was angry. I sensed more so sadness also. That was heavy. She just seemed like kind of sad, but I don't know. I'm interested to see what she do. She looked buff
Yeah.
as hell though. Buff as hell.
Yes.
She'll put us
She
both to the ground.
right. So, you know, yes, and speaking of that, let's finish off their scene, because there's something else that she said that I'm like, I'm picking up on this. I'm seeing this, Carlos. I'm seeing this. So she also mentions that she met up with Stormy, and that she would like them to meet up with Courtney and do a double date and everything. And she said she also knows some of the other friends as well. She knows Marceau, she knows Maurice, she knows Kimmy, and she said that she knows Martell. He's at the gym with Destiny. Now, when she said that, I said, whoa, 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 back up. Martell is always at the gym with Destiny. Hmm. And I'm gonna tell y'all why that kind of puts me into perspective, because it's something that Mel said at the end of this episode that made me want to pay attention to that more. At first, I missed it, but then when I watched the episode the second time, I caught it, and I was like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't know what to tell y'all, but something ain't right over there. So I'm just saying, right. But that was it. That was our introduction into Trish and Ken. We'll see. The jury's still out on that, but there were some things that he did say that was triggering. And there's gestures that she's doing that just makes me want to pay attention and wondering if she's handling her mental health in the right way. That's all I'm going to say about them. So moving on from them, the next thing that we have is, ooh, I already forgot this one. I guess we're gonna close it out with just Mel, Kimby, and Tisha, unless I'm missing something, which I feel like I am, but whatever. We're gonna just get through it, y'all. So Melody arranges for Tisha and Kimmy to come with her to do a plant based class, which is putting a plant in the pot and kind of growing it. I actually want to do this as well. This was a brilliant idea. We meet the owner of the place. She actually is Miss Liz, I believe that was her name, and she actually bought the company from the original owners. And it's a woman operated business, which we love to see women succeed in life. One of them, no matter what color they are, go get your business lady. That's what we're talking about. So when Mel and Tisha get there. I mean, not Mel and Tisha. Oh, God, forgive me. When Kimmy and Tisha get there, they begin talking, and Mel says, "How's everything going with y'all? Did y'all have a happy New Year?" And we learned that Kimmy's mother actually was diagnosed with breast cancer as well, because you guys know Kimmy had actually a double warranted breast cancer scare, so when both her breasts were affected. But her mother just had the single, and they were able to do the surgery, and everything went well. And God is good, because I just could not imagine that would go on. That's just crazy. Cancer is something else, y'all. It just really is. So then Tisha's turn. Tisha said that, for the new year, that Marcel took them to South Africa, which was great, because, there was a big stigma about him going to Africa by himself. So now he's finally taking Tisha and the kids. So they were able to go ahead and do that, which was amazing. I cannot wait for the day that I go to Africa, because I cannot wait for that. I don't want to go as often as Yandy and Quad and all of them go, but I definitely want to go at least a couple times in my life. But moving on from there, it then question comes up about the whole Mel sending Martell to jail over this text. They wanted more context, kind of like Miss Snell did. Miss Snell wanted more context, because it just seems crazy that, at least to them, because this didn't seem crazy to me, but it seems crazy that Mel would send him to jail over some harassing text messages. So she then expands what she told Miss Snell. No, it had nothing to do with that. She wanted to let the whole situation go. But then when it came to Martell wanting to release revenge porn on her, it was more serious than that. And once she said that, all of the girls kind of went like, "Oh yeah, that's more serious," and absolutely. So they all kind of were on her side. Now I was looking at Tisha with the side eye, because it just seemed like she really wasn't, following that. If we know Tisha's history when it comes to favor Martell over Mel, when it comes to the stories, if y'all go back to season 1, Tisha always blamed Mel for whatever Martell was doing. It was always apparent throughout all these seasons. So I was looking at Tisha with the side eye on this one. So it then came up about the podcast that Carlos had, and she asked, why didn't Tisha and Kimmy come to the podcast? And Tisha didn't say what she told Destiny, which was about the millimeters. She says she can't handle them. But Tisha then brings up another point to say, I didn't get an invite. The last time I came to your event, and you had me escorted out, which I do remember that. But what I do remember was Tisha wasn't invited. You just showed up out of your own will, and you and this lady were not cool at that point. So yeah, she did the right thing by escorting you out, because she didn't want that energy surrounding her business event. I understood Mel in that instance. So once Tisha said, unless I get an invitation, just came, Miss underscore AKA underscore 1908 just came to say hello and to like the video. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming through. We miss you, but hope to catch you on the next live, love. And stay tuned for this one if you're already here, because we still ain't done yet. But overall, Kimmy said, no, it's the millimeters. They're mean. And when it comes down to coming to your events, that whole energy of what we heard about it could have been directed towards us once we got there. And Mel was like, well, what are you talking about? Because the only energy that was negative is when Sonny and Moses came out. And they're like, well, that's what we're talking about. If Sonny and Moses not had it came out, it would have just been focused on us. Now, I do agree with that. I actually do agree with that, because sometimes fans and stands do the most. They absolutely do. They do the most. They say the most. They act with like as if they know these people for 45 years and can tell all their business. So I understood that. I understood everything of what Kimmy was saying. However, I would have taken that risk. If this is my friend and we on this TV show, I would have just taken the risk of just showing up and just had to deal with them later. How did you feel about that, Mrs. Best?
That's why I don't like Tisha. She says stupid stuff. Like, girl, you get why? I'm not even gonna give her the energy. I can't stand her. But I at least I really do think in Tisha's mind that's the reason that she's not there. Kimmy always keeps it real. That's why I kind of like Kimmy for the most part. But her fans may be a lot, but if y'all don't do nothing to her, they won't have a reason to, feel that way. But I did appreciate seeing like the three OGs in the scene together, getting along and acting civil. That was actually nice to see. But I mean, I wouldn't have went to the podcast neither. I mean, it's just a podcast. It's strange that he even did this and filmed this or any of that. I feel like Carlos King is using his podcast specifically with his shows to like stir up the pot. Uh, but you know, I'm glad that the ladies were able to talk and make, you know, some sort of peace, I guess.
I agree. And the last thing we're going to talk about was the whole Sonny Moses and Destiny thing. And they were, talking about their conversation they had with Sonny about the whole Sonny breaking girl code. And as soon as Kimmy said that, Mel immediately started laughing. And she said Destiny has a girl code. And they were all like, well, because and Kimmy and Tisha were taken back because they're like, what are you talking about? Like, she ain't never did nothing to you. Like, that was your friend. And Melanie said, no, that was my friend. We were friends. We're not friends any longer. And Kimmy brings up the point, well, did she sleep with your man? She goes, I don't know what Destiny would do. And when she said that, at first I was like, okay, like that was just probably kind of just, metaphorically speaking, that's not real. But then when I rewind back to the scene where Trish let out the bag that Martell's always there with Destiny when we're working out, I was like, Mel might be onto something, y'all. I don't know. Based on how the trailer looked, it does allude to that. But I don't know. It could just be just to get us viewers interested, and also because Destiny's coming back, this could be the big spark. I don't know. This cast is calculated in that way, so you never know what to believe. But I don't put it past either one of them. When I mean Destiny and Martell, I don't put it past them. I just don't. And this is my opinion. I'm not saying anything is going on allegedly, but I'm just saying I don't put it past them. How about you, Mrs. Best? What do you feel about that?
I don't just go to the gym with just anybody. So I don't trust it. And then with what happened to her with Moses and them, you never know. She could feel scorned and just be like, F it. It happened to me. It could happen to anybody and just be doing what she feels she needs to do. I wouldn't put it past her though either. I kind of feel the exact same as you. Because that's weird. Like that's just real weird. And
It
why
was
don't we
just,
have any
yeah.
other gyms in this city? Why is
That's
everybody going to the same damn gym? That's what I'm
Thank
trying to
you.
understand. I'm like, dang,
Thank you. Because I was like, is there not another gym? Like, why is
there's
everybody
only
in cahoots
one
with this one
Planet
gym? Is
Fitness
this
in town.
Lewis's gym y'all going to? Y'all going to Lewis's gym for the free membership? Is that what we doing? Let me know. Let me know, Huntsville, because if Lewis got some good discounts, I'll go to his gym too. I'm just saying. But
I was watching like, wait, it's going down at the gym. They need to be putting the cameras in the gym.
in the gym, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Because that's apparently that's where all the action is. That's where everybody meet up and we get to see, who come together and who don't. And I'm hey. But that was the episode, you guys. We leave off with that. It was an okay episode. It's starting off very slow, as I said, and I'm going to keep saying this probably after every recap. Bring Tiffany and Lewis back because I can only imagine if Tiffany was with Stormy that night that they met up with Trish and what kind of mess would have came out of that. I can only imagine. That's why I say y'all might hate Tiffany, but at least we would have got more information outside of what, because it seemed like Stormy did a good. I mean, that's her friend. She ain't gonna try to get this girl to expose all her business, but Tiffany would have got it all out of her. I promise you. And then Tiffany would have met up with her one on one and would have got some more information. And then we would have really got this show going. Hi, Logical Speaks. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. But as I'm gonna say, bring Tiffany back. That's all I'm saying. Just for me. If for nobody else, just for me. Because I just feel like that information Tiffany would have got out of her would have been phenomenal. How do you feel if Tiffany were to be in this scene? What do you think would have happened?
I feel like she would have done that. If she had all that energy pregnant to be messy, man, because pregnancy is tiring. She had time, energy, and dedication to her mess. So I'm starting to see, because I did feel watching this episode, I was like, it's a little dry. It is a little bit dry. But I feel like Tiffany probably could have filled out some scenes just investigating. Just
When I
investigate.
tell you, Tiffany bring up some stuff that you'd be like, where did you even get this from? That's like Guys, I do not think the ladies wanted to go to the podcast.
Hell no.
I don't think they did either. I don't think they did either. I don't think anybody wants to go to that podcast at all because it centers male. Anything that centers male, they don't want to be involved with it
It
because
does
it
seem like
overshadows anything that they would do.
the cast did seem, specifically Kimmy and Tisha, they do seem a little bit like envious. I won't fully say jealous because I don't think it's that, but they do
Mhm.
seem like they wish they had the same success that she's having, given that they've been here the exact same length of time that she's been here. So I think that bothers them, but their problems that they don't see as their husbands.
Exactly.
They
And
don't
that's and
see
to
it
expand on what you're saying, because I do agree with that, they also thought that Mel was going to fail without Martell.
They did.
That's really
They
what that's really where that and that enviness comes from, because they thought she was going to fail without him,
Yeah.
not knowing she held all the licenses for everything that they could do.
Yep.
You don't fail when you hold all the cards. It just doesn't work that way. So I do agree that those ladies didn't want to go because once again, that puts another element of success onto Mel because she
Yep.
was the first person on the tour for Carlos's podcast. Carlos pissed him off by making Melody his focus for the podcast. Yep, just what I just said. There's 5 of the cast members. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. She brought the idea to him and made all of them get a check around it. So why would she not be that person? So that's why I'm saying this whole envy. I do agree, it's envy. They envy her. They do,
Yeah.
especially
They do.
Tisha.
I
Especially
wouldn't
Tisha.
even say I feel like Kimmy envies her success. I think Tisha envies all of it because I know she can't stand that man.
No, I think for Kimmy, I think it's the envy is because remember Kimmy's much older than all of them. So I think that it's the line of, oh my gosh, when I was in my 30s, I wish I would have taken these endeavors. I think it is a part of the success, but I think it's more so like, you know how you look back at somebody who's younger than you, but is making so many strides and their divine time is a little bit more stage, which I'm learning now as I go beyond my therapy because I have a new therapist now. And we talked about divine timing. We talked about things that happen in alignment. And sometimes it's better to appreciate things when you're older than getting it when you're younger and not knowing how to manage or not how to balance your mind. So, because I have that fear, y'all. I have that fear of getting older and success happening to me at a much older age than it happening when I felt I was ready for it. And maybe I'm not ready for it. Who knows? But I definitely feel like it's something like that because there is a bit of like enviness on both their parts. I look at them and I'm seeing that because it's always Kimmy with the, well, Mel, I heard you had this and I heard you had that. And why wasn't I included? And why wasn't, you didn't think of me when it was her doing that last season that made me see that that's kind of what it is. And with Tisha, we've been seeing this from day one. It was the freedom while still having all the responsibilities. Like, how do you balance the two? Like, how does that work? And then you have a man or ex-man who's still very much present in those things too. It's like, how do you have that? Because I have one who thinks he just needs to work and all I could do, and I have to do it all. All he has to do is bring the paycheck. So I see enviness in both of them, and for those reasons. Now I could be wrong, and that
But I
couldn't
do
be it at
think,
all.
like Logical Speaks has said, I do think that Carlos King pays favorites on all of his shows, even outside of OWN, prior to him doing his own stuff. And when you play a favorite, they can't help but to become envious when you're clearly playing favorites with someone who's also a producer on the show. So, I mean, he kind of, I don't know, Carlos King lacks professionalism at times. Sometimes I feel like he should be on the show, like right there with Mel. But, he says, I get what you say. They do not like Melody. Do you think Melody has been fair to them and she likes them? Oh.
I'm going to answer this question because as someone who did watch the show from episode 1, do you think Melody has been fair to them? Yes. And I'm gonna give you the prime example when it came to the first season where she was taking Tisha to networking events and introducing her to everybody, saying, this is my friend Letitia. And then she says, I want to get you the blueprint because you are seeking out this advice from me. So I want to help you. I wish I had a friend that said, let me show you the blueprint because I'm going to follow it now, having the mindset that I have. See, the problem with Tisha is Tisha was trying to find a flaw in all of that. That's why that didn't work out for her. And do you think she likes them? I think it's a coworker, like kind of a coworker camaraderie where she is cool with them because she knows for several months out of the year, I have to film with them. I have to, engage with them because I don't want the scenes to take away from whatever I have going on
I
because
don't
Mel.
think Mel likes these women anymore. From like, I haven't watched every season. I'm here watching now for James primarily, but I did watch the first two. And it does seem like coming back from not seeing anything to now, it does seem like in the past she genuinely cared and liked them. And now, after what they did, the lack of empathy with the divorce and things that I felt that they had toward her, now I feel like she tolerates them for the sake of the show,
Mhm.
like, is being cordial and professional. But I don't think she really particularly cared for them like that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this with Kimmy's part, because I'm gonna say with Kimmy, it was the Kimmy constantly trying to enforce Martell being a good guy, even despite the fact of what Martell was putting Melody through. Kimmy would always kind of backpedal it and say, "Well, he's still a good guy, and I still would like to invite him to events and everything." And that to me rubbed me wrong about Kimmy because it was like, if I'm telling you my experience with somebody and I don't want to come to your event and you're telling me, oh, well, he's a good guy, I don't see all of that. It's kind of like you're dismissing how I feel. So if I'm telling you how I feel, you're telling me it doesn't exist because you don't see that. But mind you, you don't walk in my shoes with this person. So you can't see it. And to me, I would have an objection. I would be like, okay, look, I don't see what you're going through. I would like to invite him, but if you're uncomfortable, what we can do is I'll have you here from this time to this time, and I'll have him there from this time to this time, so you two can completely avoid each other because I will want you both at my event. So I think that to me, that's where Kimmy went wrong with me, and I think that that's where the dislike. So Melody took Tisha to one event, and Melody has not been totally nice to them, in my opinion. James. Okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see that too. She did. It was only one event. It was, but also keep in mind, it was also other jabs being thrown at Melody as well when it came to Wanda, when it came to, things that happened after they had gotten done filming. So I think there could have been more at the end of the day had those things not happened. So I understand and I totally agree with what you're saying. I do. I say it was only one event, but a lot has happened since that one event though. And mind you, they had filmed this and then didn't air it until months later. This show didn't get aired until after months after they filmed that first season. So a lot on social media has happened leading up to that first reunion. So I don't know. It could have been, but to me, all I need is one time. If I'm being real with somebody, all I need is one time. Introduce me never, because I guarantee I'm gonna show up to the next one, to the next networking event. Hey, you remember me? I was with Mel on that a couple months ago on Tuesday. You remember that? Yeah, I'm here. I'm back again. So yeah, I think the jabs went back and forth. Absolutely, they did. Not just one way. Mel through as well. Absolutely, she did. Sometimes first. Yes, there was one instance where I do think that it was Melody throwing the first jab when it came to the husband Marceau cheating. She did throw the first jab. I do remember that. So yeah, absolutely, you're absolutely correct. I like you, Logical Speaks. I need to have you in these chats more often because you definitely giving me all the real here. I love it. So in terms with that, y'all, that was once again the ending of episode 3, season 5 recap review with me and Mrs. Best. Mrs. Best, do you have anything you want to add before we go ahead and call it a day?
I hope that next week's episode is more interesting than this week's episode. That is all.
I'm gonna say it like this. Carlos, I know you don't watch me yet because I ain't up there yet. But Carlos, man, if you don't bring Tiffany back and stop playing with us, we need Tiffany. I see why you didn't fire her. I see why you didn't do it. Because I'm telling you, now that we don't have her, I see what the gem that Tiffany brought. She brought everything and kept that drama going. We need Tiffany because, yes. I'm sorry, y'all. I know I'm the anomaly in this situation. I know I'm the outsider that wants Tiffany back, but I want Tiffany back. I'm sorry, I do. I'm gonna keep saying it every recap and review. I want Tiffany back. But that's it, you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I had a great time with this recap. I didn't think I was going to enjoy recapping Love and Marriage Huntsville, but I am having a good time with this.
I
This has been
told
fun.
you.
Yes, Mrs. Best was right. So yes. Oh, hold on. One more thing. Hey guys, Kimmy says they are forced to film together, mentioning production and own network. Okay. Well, I'll look into that. Logical Speaks. I'll look into that. I'll create another live if I can find, interviews, things that she has done that says that, and we'll talk about it. I'm willing to do that. I'm sure Mrs. Best will be open to doing that too. And we can have a kind of a sidebar, Love and Marriage Huntsville behind the scenes. What happens when they're not filming? How did all this mess start? We can do that.
Yeah, because
I'm open
I
to that.
think that's the thing with this show. There's so much more happening off camera than there is on camera. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
I see these people on the internet.
Justin Ross
Around.
interview. Okay, I'm going to pull that up. I'll watch it, and yeah, we will come back. I will put a notification on my community of when I will do this video, and we will go forward from there. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes.
On Dustin Ross podcast. Okay, I got you. Oh, I see it right here. I'm gonna go ahead and save it and I'll watch it. All right. Thank you so much, Logical Speaks. I do appreciate you so much. Thank you for your continued support. I know you be on my channel a lot, so I appreciate you once again. And we will be back for this, guys. I promise I will do this video with y'all. Be sure to catch us tomorrow on Mrs. Best's channel. We are going to do Real Housewives of New Jersey and also Summer House Martha's Vineyard. We will go ahead and do those two videos on her channel because the videos I do not do on my channel, she does on hers. So we collaborate with each other. And if you guys want me to look into other shows or if there's something that is catching your guys' eye, you think I should watch a recap, let me know in my comment section. Reach out to me. I am an open book, y'all. I promise. Thank you guys so much once again. Thank you, Mrs. Best, once again for being my co-host, my bestie, and everything that I need on these review streets. We appreciate you. And you guys have a good day. Happy Sunday.
Bye.